All right, to begin, what you need to do is just go ahead and open up a new document. It doesn't matter what size it is. I'm just going to use the default Photoshop size. Set that to transparent and go ahead and name this 3D Word or 3D Text. All right, then we're ready to roll. So to create your text first, we need to use the text tool. Doesn't matter what font you use, that's going to be totally up to you. I'm just going to use the one that I have here. And I'm just going to use my last name. I don't care what word you choose to do. It can be your first name, last name. As long as it's appropriate, I don't really care. So I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bit bigger using Command T. All right, now you can certainly leave this a solid color. I would recommend playing with some different effects. So there's a tool down here. So if we're on this layer, this FX down here that stands for effects. If you click on that, you can add all of these different options, which is going to change the color a little bit. So I'm going to add a gradient to mine. So I'm going to go gradient overlay. And you can see that when I opened it up, it changed already. There's tons of different settings you can use. So as you do some of these things, it'll add some different textures and patterns to them. So feel free to play around with those. I'm just going to go ahead and select a gradient here. I'll just go ahead and leave it like this. So once you have your color of your text that you would like to do, you're ready to move on to the next part. So the next part is we need to actually put this text into 3D. So I'm going to go up here to 3D, and I'm going to select this one that says Repose. So I go ahead and do that, and there's only one option, so go ahead and press Text Layer. Now, as you go to do that, it's going to ask you, before it can turn this into 3D, it has to rasterize the text. So that means once you rasterize it, if you click yes, you're not going to be able to come back in and edit your text. So make sure you have the word that you want as far as changing letters, misspelling, things like that. Because once you press yes, you can't go back and do that. So now you can see that that's automatically turned to 3D letters. So now you can see, look at how my tool has changed a little bit. And you can actually move this to look at how that is in 3D. So there's lots of different settings here that you can play around with. I'll kind of turn this to the side so you guys can see a little bit. And you can also use this little thing up here on the corner to help you move it a little bit if you're having problems. So play around with some of that stuff. All right, so this letter is pretty thick right now, so extrude, that means how far it sticks out. So let's say I change this to 3, it's going to get significantly bigger. If I change this to 0.3, it gets quite a bit smaller. So determine how thick you want your text to be. Now these are different settings up here that changes the text a little bit. You can see this kind of rounds it out a little bit. This one creates, actually I don't know what that one does. I couldn't really tell the difference. But it'll do some different effects depending on what you want. So play around with some of those things. There's lots of different options. Some of them get a little crazy, okay? So just play around with some of those things. So here if I change the depth to 0.2, it's going to do some interesting things. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave it normal. I'm not going to have any of these things happening, so I'm just going to make it the regular 3D block, and I'm going to do 0.3 depth. Okay? So feel free to play around with some of this stuff too. That'll create it can create some different textures and things as you want them, but like I said, I am just going to leave it how it is right now. So once you have that done, just go ahead and press OK. And now we're ready to go on to the animation portion. So we're going to go back up here to Window, Animation, and we're going to get our timeline. So we want this one up here, not the one when we are doing the GIF animation like this. So go ahead and make sure it's in this. So to begin, so this is our layers over here, what we're animating. So go ahead and click this little down arrow and find the one that says 3D object position. Now there's lots of different choices here, and if you have time you can certainly explore those, but for now we're just going to work on how to move it. We'll do some more advanced things later. So I go ahead and click this, and you notice that it adds a little yellow diamond. That is what is called a keyframe, and that tells us where things are going to move. So if you want to move and rotate your object, the object rotate tool is this one under the shape tool that kind of looks like a circle with the curved arrow. So that's the tool that you'll use when you're moving it. So let's say this is the starting position of your text. All you are going to do is move this over, and let's say you want it to move again at 1 second. So you put this here. And now, as you notice when I click to rotate, it's going to add another one of those keyframes. So let's say I want it to rotate like this. So once I pick it up, another keyframe is added. So then you're going to drag this timeline again, and it doesn't have to be at the second mark. It can be. Usually takes a second to load, and then you continue to rotate. So you do this as many times. I believe this goes to 10 seconds. Let me check. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do this all to the 10-second mark. So you are going to continue moving this as you go. Okay, so I'm going to, for just time purposes, I'm not going to take it the entire way because I think the step is pretty easy. Should be pretty easy for you to do. So now let's say you're having a hard time getting it back to like the starting position or something like that. What you can do, so you can drag this here to the next keyframe, and this time, let's say you want it to be in the same starting position this was. So go ahead, you just right click or control click and press copy keyframe. And now this time when you go to move it, you can move it. It's going to create a new keyframe. But if you don't want it there, you can just go ahead and right-click on this one, and you can paste keyframe. And so what that'll do is that'll take it back to that starting position or whatever one that you copied. Okay, so let's say you just want this to repeat again. You could certainly come back here, highlight all of these. I'm just doing this by holding down Shift and clicking. And then if you right-click, copy keyframes, and then I'm going to drag this over here. As I go to do that, I'm going to press paste keyframes, and you can see they're all added in. Okay, so that will fill up my 10 seconds here. Okay, so if you need to see how it works, go ahead and play through it. Now remember, this is only 10 seconds long. The video isn't fully rendered, so it's not going to be this slow. It shouldn't be this slow when you do this. Okay? So when you are happy with your video, your animation, just go ahead and you are ready to add a background. Okay? So you are going to want to select a background that is going to stand out in contrast. So I'm just going to go back here, add a new layer. And since I already have a black background, I'm going to go ahead and since I don't have, let's see, what color should I use? I don't really have since that shadow's gray, I'm going to go ahead and just use my bucket tool, or excuse me, the shadow's black. And I'm going to create a gray background just so it can kind of stand out. And you can totally, if you wanted to, you could pull in a gradient or something, whatever you kind of are feeling. Maybe if you want to switch it up, just as long as you can see the text from the background. So once that's done, then the only thing you need to do is export the video. And we're going to do this the same way as we did our everyday objects video. So you go up here to File, Export, Render Video, and then these settings should all be okay, and then you just go ahead and press Render. Usually I already have this saved, so I'm going to go ahead and just replace it. You guys shouldn't have a problem with that. So it usually takes a second to process, but since it's a very short video, it shouldn't take you very long. Okay, now we can go ahead and see. So that's all you need to do with the Photoshop part. Oops, I'm going to bring that back up. Let's say, before we play this, let's say you do not get this animation done today, and you're not ready to export it. If it's not finished, do not export the video like I just did. But I need you to turn in something to Google Classroom. So what you can do is just simply screenshot what your progress is for the day. So remember, you just do that by going Command-Shift-4. That little arrow thing comes up. And just go ahead and screenshot, drag across here your progress for the day. And then that screenshot, that is what you will upload into Google Classroom. If you finish the video, you don't need to screenshot. So let's go ahead and open up the video file, and it just takes a second to load, and we'll see how it looks. So you can see it's a little bit faster than in Photoshop. So there's tons of different settings that can be explored with that. So that's what you guys need to work on today.